What's up, everyone? It's your host, Xavier Smith, here on another episode of the Pay Attention Podcast. Today, we're joined by a special guest as we talk about a industry that a lot of people in the Black and brown community may often look over, and that's going to be insurance, right? And so I have Mr. Anthony Chambers here along with us today, and he's going to talk about the different types of benefits, some of the education behind, and the importance even of insurance, because we all need to focus on one, protection in life as an individual, but also protection for our families. And like I said, we're going to dive more into how this can help us personally, as a family perspective, and as well even impact our community to do the same thing. Mr. Chambers is actually a military Marine veteran, also a husband, including a dad who's been in insurance going on 6 years now, or 7 years now. But again, he's been in this field, been helping and impacting the lives of people in or around this community. Shout out to Houston, Texas. Shout out to Mr. Anthony with Goosehead Insurance. But first, I do want to give you a chance to introduce yourself as well for the people that are just now getting a chance to tune into this episode, listening to you.
Right. Thank you, Xavier. Like Xavier said, Anthony Chambers. I'm with Goosehead Insurance. I've been in the insurance world for about 7-8 years. I've been with Goosehead Insurance. April will make 6 years that I've been a franchise owner with Goosehead. I shop the market out there. I find out, okay, what insurance carriers are coming back with the best rates for your demographic, for your geographic location, or what your assets are. So I'm able to look at, for example, some of your more popular insurance companies like Allstate or Progressive, or even some of your not so popular insurance companies like Homeowners of America, Berkshire Hathaway Guard. And what I do is I find out, okay, who's got the best rate? I'm already, peddling products that are A-rated with Better Business Bureau, but let me just find out which one is best fitted for you in your situation. Because the person with the, 2 cars in the Woodlands may not be the same product that I write for somebody with 2 cars in Pearland or Sunnyside or Eastside or Katy. So I like being a broker because it gives me the opportunity to.
What's up, y'all? It's Justice here in my very own Hideaway and Nickel Airbnb, located here in Houston, Texas. 3-bed, 2.5 bathroom. Let's take a look. This one is nice. Got a mirror in there. Even got a mini fridge in case you want to bring some wine in here. Here. Double showers. Nice little tub. You know what I'm saying? Big mirror. Lights. Chanel. A little Bob over here, you know what I'm saying? You want to check out Bob. Big Astro World, you know what I'm saying? I'm a huge Travis Scott fan. You know what I'm saying? You might see something else. Yes sir. And right here, we got the first guest bedroom. Alright, something simple, something slight. You'll notice they're both the same. Over here we got a half bathroom, nothing to really look at. Over here we got another bathroom. Saying something slight. Real simple. Alright, hold on. Got my boy Ray and the Blues Brothers. Got him, that's one Ray. Over here, life is beautiful, you know what I'm saying? Big screen TV, every room, gotta have it. Right here, you do your makeup how you want, you know what I'm saying? All the lights bright. It's too easy. Let's see. Here. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah. So obviously we got Selena over here. gotta be my favorite. Love her to death. She was born in 96. I was born in 96. I lied. She passed away in 96. Living room. I'm saying something slight. Over here we got our grass wall. People love to take pictures right there. So that's a huge. I love the light here. And you gotta love when it shines on. Paid in full. If you know, you know. You know what I'm saying? Money making Mitch. Gotta love it. But yes, I want to thank y'all again for checking out my Airbnb. If you want to book it, just let me know. How to Win a Nickel. Also follow me at Heavy on Assets.
Perfect. Okay, so a lot of people can actually benefit from finding more. So from your perspective as a franchise owner, you can actually give a lot of insight into how people can benefit from different policies. I heard you mention you do life, auto. Were there any other insurance policies that I may have missed?
Yeah, so I'm actually licensed in all lines of insurance. So I can do homeowners, renters, auto, flood, umbrella policies, life insurance policies, the different types of life policies. I'm licensed to do health insurance if I need to, commercial insurance. Take you, for example, you and your brand, your business, your LLC, to protect it, they have commercial policies out there. So, if you were looking for something like that, I could do that. But in basically any lines of insurance out there, I'm licensed to do.
Perfect. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about more so the importance, more so of the importance from multiple different aspects. Of course, we want to talk about the protection of it, but the benefits through the protection. It could be, of course, a safe way for what can we say, people passing away, as well.
Right.
We can talk about as well just some of the benefits while you're living, and of course the education behind it, because I know a lot of people, especially in a brown community, may not see the importance of, and we talked about this the other day, investing in themselves through life insurance. You may see it as a bill, as in I'm paying 100, 200, 500, 10,000 a month for life insurance, but I'm investing that into myself. Is going to give me access to benefits for me. You know what I'm saying? It's more so like an investment into a stock, but you know what I'm saying? You're the stock,
The stock. Exactly. And so if you don't mind, I'm gonna just jump in on that. So that whole life insurance component, I can say that, I've seen on social media a lot of people talking about, life insurance, and I'm not sure how serious people actually take those conversations that they hear. But hear me now, it's legit. When I say life insurance is one of those things that can completely change not only your life, it can change the life of your children. It can set your children up for the entire different type of lifestyle that you may have, or that you took a little bit longer to obtain. So what's
the general statistic for people to grab when they ask how many people actually have life insurance in the population, the general population?
Honestly, I don't know, but I know that in a lot of conversations that I have with clients, when I ask them, do you have life insurance? Maybe 1 out of 10 tell me that they have life insurance.
Okay.
And probably half of them only have a term life insurance policy that they have through their jobs. And it's a very, very small, number of clients that I come across who have the whole life insurance policy or the term life policy outside of their job. So with those life insurance policies, you have two types. You have, and we talked about this. And I'll just kind of talk about it the same way we did. You have your term life insurance, and then you have your whole life insurance, and there's different variations of them. But look at the term life first. Term life, consider it like an apartment. It's as good as you need it to be while you're there. So you have an apartment, it's not yours per se. You only live there for a term period amount of time. And after that term period amount of time, that apartment is no longer yours. Same thing with the term life policy. That term life policy is good for the term period that you have it, and then it goes away. It's no longer yours. So you'll have, some people will get a 10-year term life policy, 20 or 30. But once that time expires and you're still alive and you're still kicking, it just goes away. It is money that you just really just dumped into a protection, in the event that something happened. Now, don't get me wrong, it's still very responsible to have one, especially if, you do have assets, you do have children, you do have a family that can be completely set up in a very prosperous situation. God forbid you pass away before your expected time. And then you, like I said, you have your whole life policies. And those are the ones that I like to focus on the most and talk about the most with our community, because the whole life policy has the ability to not only benefit your beneficiaries, but it also has the ability to benefit you while you're paying on it. So the whole life policy does something that a term life will not do, which is it's going to accumulate cash value. It's going to grow, and just kind of depending on the market and how much you actually put into it each month will determine how much it's going to grow. So you have some whole life.
So with that information, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But
you gotta jump in because I'll keep going.
No, probably not. So with that information, as a franchise owner of a insurance agency, why do you think most brown and black people in the community pass up or move away from, or just close the door on insurance as a protection and as a potential cash flow, a stream of income?
I have many thoughts about that. One of them is lack of education. Another one is, let's be transparent. You hear the word insurance, that ain't sexy. There's nothing that's gravitating or captivating about insurance. A lot of times you hear insurance, it's almost as though you're talking about physics also. So a lot of people, insurance is scary in the sense of they just don't know anything about it. And a lot of times in our community, when we don't know something, we're reluctant to ask questions, and we'll rather just act like we know instead of just actually asking the questions.
Okay, so it's more of a mental approach, because I agree with you. In the minority black brown community, it's like we're more so, we see that type of where it's like, okay, but we're fearful, that's another bill, but in the Asian, Caucasian community, the Indian community, they look at it as this is an opportunity for me to give myself an asset for this particular benefit, whether it's life, car, home, or business. So it sounds like it's a mental thing, like how we approach this topic. We see it as a penalty. Other people see it as a, as a reward. If so, even a benefit.
A reward. It's a way of life. Let me tell you, there are, and because I have so many different clients in so many different arenas, I have clients that in their community, as soon as a child is born, they're putting a 10 or 15 or 20-year whole life policy in place. And what that is it's not only a life insurance policy that pays out in the event that child passes away in that time frame, but it is also a stock market. It's a bank. It's money that's accumulating year over year, or actually month over month, to where by the time that child is now 20 or 15, mom and dad, all they have to do is turn around and say, I need you to go to this link and see how much money is yours. Because that's 20 years of accumulated cash value that they haven't touched, but they've trusted the market to grow it the way that life insurance markets grow, which is like 7%. So it just grows and grows and grows. So you have those communities that aren't afraid of life insurance, that spearhead it, that find out all the nooks and crannies, the loopholes, the ins and outs, everything about life insurance, particularly whole life policies, how much they can gain over a certain period of time with the X amount of dollars being put into it month after month. And I mean, by the time these, young people are of adults, they can go and buy a house. They can go fund their entire college, or just if they have a scholarship, they can use that money for whatever they want, or they can just let it just keep growing.
Okay. So let's talk about as well. And I want to transition into, because I feel like this is on to what you're talking about when you talk about the business of insurance, and I want to focus on now, because you are a Black owned franchise in this multi-billion-dollar industry, I want to focus on the eagle eye CEO perspective. What is it like being a Black man or a Black founder in business, when it comes to just having to deal with the ins and outs, the infrastructures, working with people, working with other businesses, just really more so being a Black man in business, in a business that's commonly dominated by other ethnicities.
Right. So it's had its hard days and it's had its not so hard days. I'm not going to be able to approach referral partners or approach clients the same way, just because, the color of my skin. It's not going to be that easy. It hasn't been that easy for my colleagues that look just like me. Granted, I've had some luck. I've been blessed. At the same time, I do know that for me, I have to give it significantly more energy, time, and strength than my counterparts that don't look like me. So coming into insurance, when I first joined, it was with Angel Henderson. She has a State Farm agent. She looks like us. And her story was something that I learned from. She took over this book of business, and when those clients found out what she looked like, a lot of them left her office. And so now with me, when I started my business, I didn't inherit a book. I started my book from ground up. So even my approach to grow my book the way that I did had to be different than my counterparts. A lot of training tells young insurance brokers and agents to basically be like a shotgun, shoot as many shots, get out there and just try to meet as many different people as you can and continue to just bombard them.
Right.
Somebody like me, when I tried that approach, it was seen more so of being a person that was harassing. So I knew that wasn't gonna work for me. I mean, how does it look? Me looking the way I'm a Black guy. At the time I had hair. I've always had a beard, but here I am walking in, trying to, develop this partnership, and a lot of times you're just not going to be seen the same way. So instead of me being
Did that affect your learning journey in any way?
absolutely, so what it did was I'm very analytical. I see a lot of life like a schematic. So I see what works and what leads to what. So just knowing what I had learned in that experience, I decided to just go the opposite direction. Instead of being a shotgun, I was a sniper rifle. I aimed in on one or two particular people, and I developed my business that way.
Wow. Okay.
Building relationships with particular people and allowing those particular people to become my mouthpiece and share their experience with me to other people. So
Right.
it's different when somebody who is trusted by others to tell their experience of me versus me trying to tell them what their experience
Right.
is like. So
Uh-huh.
in my learning journey, I learned that, okay, in this industry, focus on just a couple of people that are either realtors or lenders. Make their experience wonderful for them, for their title companies, for their clients, and let them see, okay, if we work with Anthony, we know he's going to get it done. And so, that was my approach. That was my learning journey. My learning journey was definitely, okay, I have to go against the grain on a lot of things because I don't match or fit the description of what is going to be suitable for everybody.
Okay, well, since we're on the topic of learning, let's talk about education. You mentioned that the community can benefit in this industry, whether it's from a supporter as a customer or even as a business owner. When people get educated in this type of industry, do you think the change is going to happen from more brown people or more minorities getting insurance, or is it going to be more so it's just getting in the position that you're in, more so on we're behind the counter helping other people bring awareness and we're bringing them to how do you think it's going to change? Just more so getting insurance as a community or getting educated? We need more Black insurance franchises. We need more Black insurance agents of different, calibers.
I think both. I think that it's kind of a double-edged sword because I can educate until I turn blue in the face. On the other end of it, you have to be willing. So,
Right.
I've seen it to where I've had great conversations with people about insurance, and they turned around and they actually did they did it. I see one client of mine, I did his insurance. He saw what the process looked like, and he actually came onto my team and worked for me.
Okay.
Another one saw what I was doing and, wanted to learn more about it, became educated, and he went and got his own Goosehead insurance franchise also. It still has it. It's still up and running. I've had others to where in the conversation, they became more aware of what insurance really looked like, and they took their insurance more seriously. And now we have either annual or every 6 month, sit downs about their coverages just as a reminder. And then you have some that just hear it and it's just not captivating. It's just one of those things where they want to, put their time and energy elsewhere. And, end of the day, I got to respect it. Still at the same time, I'm just like, dude, there's so much that can happen if you just, take the baby step towards knowing at least more about insurance and what it can do for you. But in our community, oh man, we could definitely benefit from more, Black and brown people in this industry. I mean, it's not one of those industries where we are, deeply rooted or represented, as much as we need to, which is, it's crazy because insurance is definitely one of those things that everybody has to have in some shape, form, or fashion.
Right. If you have a car, it's illegal to not have insurance. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You have a house. You can't get a house without having insurance.
Exactly. And so, you know, with insurance and Black and brown people, I mean, if we took it more serious and got into it, if we realize that just because that thing isn't quote unquote sexy or as flashy, you have, the sky is the limit, you know, financially, you know, what it can do for you and your family. The sky's the limit on what it will do. I honestly feel like your confidence, you know, what it'll do for you and your self pride and just, you know, ownership of the thing. But, you know, again, it's just one of those things where it's like, because it's not talked about that much, you know, it's not music, it's not, you know, athletic, it's not, you know, anything that we have been accustomed to, you know, be formed around. You know, it's hard to make those impacts to say, you know, hey, really consider this.
Right.
You know, but sometimes, you know, sometimes you can reach them, sometimes you don't.
Yeah, okay.
I definitely want to tell as many people, man, when I tell you I want to tell as many people as I can about the opportunities in insurance and what it can do for your life on the professional side and the personal side, from the selling it to the having it, what it can do for you. Look, we as the people, we've been sleeping on insurance because, you know, they've known about insurance.
Right. And this is not a business that came around in the 1900s. Insurance has been a commodity since, you know what I'm saying, before we even had buildings built, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely agree with you. Now let's transition into the success mentality, you know, because we got to highlight, you know what I'm saying, more so why people should focus on insurance, you know, but now I want to kind of highlight why we're here on Pay Attention, because we kind of want to wake up the minds of the Black and brown community to how they can expose themselves to a new way of living, and that's through entrepreneurship. Whether you have a big business that's Fortune 500 or you have a small business with 2 employees, you know what I'm saying, the benefits, the joys, the lessons, the experience, the networking that I feel like are benefits from being an entrepreneur. I feel like, you know what I'm saying, can get more people started, more people to actually start getting out of their shell, to start chasing their skill sets, chasing their dreams and accomplishing the goals that they've set for themselves. You know, most people let time pass them up, but you know what I'm saying, the only thing is, if you work hard enough, you can catch back up the time, you know? And that's what we want to talk about now, success mentality, you know. So my first icebreaker question for this part of the podcast, you know, what are some of your core values that you stand on as an individual? You know, what are some of your kind of main attributes?
Yeah, so one thing that I believe is even on my page, I've been blessed to be in a position to be a resource to everybody when it comes to insurance. Insurance was one of those things that was scary to me in the beginning before, you know, I really became an adult. And so, you know, when I learned about it, you know, I wanted to be a person that, you know, anybody can come and talk to, and that I would give them a genuine, transparent, shoot it straight conversation about what insurance looks like, what their coverages are, what it doesn't protect them against, because there are misconceptions. So I take this insurance thing serious. I take it serious because there's so many agents and there's just so many just individuals out there that want to take advantage of you because of your lack of knowledge. So, you know, also for me, the education component, you know, I'm really big on. I'm big on having the conversations and just educating. I mean, I even have an education background. My master's is in teaching. So naturally, I love to just, you know, break down insurance Barney style for everybody and anybody to know. But like core value wise, you know, anybody I work with, as far as like my realtors, my lenders, they know that if they're working, I'm working. So if they're up at 10 o'clock, because they're banging their head against the wall on just how to get this deal done, if the insurance component can step in to make that thing happen, they know they can call or text me. Like I said, if you're working, I'm working. We're not done with this thing until we get to the closing table. Mm-hmm. We're not done with this thing until you have your new policy. So, we're very driven at my office. Competitive at my office in a healthy way.
Okay, great. That's good. Yeah. So as an entrepreneur, as a franchise owner, actually, would you have chosen to stay in the 9-to-5 circle, or do you feel like you made the right decision choosing to build up your own business?
I made the right decision to build my own business. The only regret, and it's hard to say regret, but if I had to stamp a regret, is that I didn't get into it sooner. Had I gotten into it sooner, no telling, where I would be, where I would be with my family. Granted, I'm in a very good place now. We have some healthy assets. I'm able to do things for and with my family, with my wife, that I wasn't able to do with a 9-to-5. So background, I worked for Harris County for 10 years. I was in the probation department, and, it was a 9-to-5, regardless of how much work I did. And I'm a workaholic by nature. So regardless of how late I would stay up putting notes in the system, or, it didn't matter. I was going to get paid the same thing. Mm-hmm. But the fruit of my labor had a ceiling, basically. Whereas when I jumped over into entrepreneurship and I became my own boss, the fruits of the labor, you can definitely tell the difference.
Wow.
So if I was quote unquote 9-to-5 or salary or whatever, have you, if I was that, regardless of how much work I put in, I was always going to make that amount of money per month.
Right.
As over here, with the same amount of time and energy I put over here is going to reflect on that bank account. It's going to reflect on my residuals. So
perfect. Okay.
It was just one of those things where if I could have done it sooner, I would have, definitely.
Okay. Yeah, and so most people, may not really understand if entrepreneurship is for them, especially in the Black and brown community, whether you going to college or not. Most people may think I don't have the time, or I don't have the resources, or I don't have the money, and I think that's one reason why you should start your own dream, start building your own business, because I don't think anyone does. There's no perfect time to start. The best time to do it is just to do it. So my next question is for those people that have a skill set or that don't have a skill set, why should, we look to educate ourselves in new areas, like you choosing insurance, something that you're unfamiliar with? Why should we educate ourselves in areas that we don't know to benefit us long term?
For that reason right there, because you don't know, So I came from zero sales background. Mm-hmm. I was a probation officer for 10 years. Before that, I was in the Marines for 8 years. Mm-hmm. No service background whatsoever. Okay. But I knew I wanted something different for my life. I knew that the path that I wanted for myself and just the goals that I wanted for myself and for my family would have a very short ceiling if I didn't break out of the box and try something different. Mm-hmm. Now, don't get me wrong. Some people, are comfortable in the box, and unless you're at a point to where you're ready to get uncomfortable, that probably is the zone that you need to stay in. But they also need to realize that once you decide, because everything in life is a choice. I'm a firm believer that God gives us this thing called liberty. Okay, so once you decide to break through that thing and to try something different, sky's the limit. Because in your mind, because you're in this box, because you have the fear of the unknown, you can't allow your mind to venture outside of what the possibilities actually look like. And I was that same person. I was like, okay, I'm just not gonna break through that ceiling. Yeah, I want to travel the world. Yeah, I want to have a lifestyle where I can go fishing on the weekends with my sons, or take my daughters out to, get their pedicure, manicures, or spoil my wife. Yeah, I wanted those things, but I wasn't willing to, make that change. But when I did, and I had the unction in me to succeed, and I only let my choice to be successful be the only choice, here we are.
And I want to intercede right here because it's this quote that I got from Ian Dunlap, on Market Mondays with Earn Your Leisure. Shout out Earn Your Leisure. But he said the one thing that we have to focus on as investors and entrepreneurs are the 5 people we hang around, who we brainstorm with, talk to, and do business with. So what's the importance of your circle, when you start doing new things, when this is going to be a big thing, because I feel like this is when, like you said, life is a decision. You have what God given us as liberty when we choose to be average or elite, average or phenomenal, so a lot of times they say, if you show me your 5 friends, I can tell you where you're going to be or where you're going to end up.
Yes.
So how important is it to hang around with those? And it's hard, because who wants to hang around with someone smarter than them, richer than them, doing more than them, more successful than them? But what are the importance of having those people around you that are, just moving at a different, and I don't like to say motion, I like to say frequency. One that you're not accustomed to, one that people in your circle may see and they may look down upon because of that frequency. And you got to think, hold up, he's living like this on a certain frequency, doing something totally different than we are, and we doing this, living on this frequency, and we're against his frequency, or even trying to find out more about that frequency, or learning, growing, and getting towards another level. So yeah, hanging around people, and then if you don't mind, as we're talking about what it's like hanging around people, what is it like letting people go that don't deserve that attachment, that access to you anymore?
Man, deep and good questions. So I'll start with the 5 people, that you hang around, just basically what that looks like for me. Honestly, historically, it was, just hanging around whoever, honestly. And what I did learn was that is actually true, the quote that you gave, because I wasn't going anywhere. Now I don't have deep, in-depth conversations with anybody who either doesn't have more than me or isn't a little bit more educated in the fields that I'm wanting to get into. So if we're quote unquote in a place where we can't feed into each other to grow, if I can't pour in you and you can't pour into me to where we're growing, we just cool. We're associates, and that's fine.
Okay.
But as far as like my close-knit circle, pretty much everybody that's in my close-knit circle are entrepreneurs. Either entrepreneurs or, they're, fresh out of, military, and they're looking to do something big, and they have the capacity to do so. I don't really hang out per se with anybody who is a
average individual.
Settler.
Okay. Oh, I think
that's
a totally different mentality. I think settling and being average. I think settling may be a little bit worse.
Look, there's gonna be some people that don't like me for saying this. You got two types. You got hunters and gatherers. Okay. I'm right now in my hunting season. Okay. And unless you're a hunter with me, then I don't have anything to gain by hanging out with a gatherer who is just there to benefit on what I've hunted. There's nothing I can do with that. There's no way I can grow and become a better hunter. There's no way I can grow and be a better business owner, a better husband, a better father, a better entrepreneur. There's nothing that you can feed me to grow me. So traditionally, I was the type that, kind of was a settler, honestly. If I had to be genuine with myself, I was a settler. And a part of me was the type of person who did not want to hang out with a person who, quote unquote, had it better than me. But that was a pride thing. And so I think for everybody, it's a little bit different on what their niche is that causes them to not want to pursue that. For me, it was pride, because I didn't want to seem like the person that was coming behind somebody and asking them, please teach me the ways. I didn't want to humble myself. At the same time, because I didn't want to, I was a king in my settling realm. But, when I made a decision to, okay, I'm going to put myself in a position to learn, I'm on myself. Hey, teach me what you know about real estate. Teach me what you know about investing. Teach me what you know about insurance. Teach me what you know about life insurance. And all I want to do now is surround myself with people that I can learn from.
Did you have that same feeling of pride, or did that change when it was time to let people go? And I don't mean like let people go like you burn a bridge, but it's just some people that you just elevate from spending as much time with.
Absolutely. So I learned that what some of the people that I now have broken those daily ties with, when I broke those daily ties, it was because I realized that, as long as I was at this level with them and I wasn't bigger, quote unquote, or trying to become better, then we would get along. There was no friction. We were on the same wave path. We were, there was nothing that can cause friction. But the moment that I started wanting better for myself, and the moment that I started realizing and self-evaluating myself and who I was, my importance and my growth, and everything that would be considered a me thing, and not from a selfish standpoint, because everything, when I say about the me thing, I'm talking about my family and my family's family in the future. So when I started considering things about me, that's the only time the friction came. And so when you have a friction that is caused by you yourself wanting to become better, that is a telltale sign, a red flag that that's not a relationship that you need to maintain, or that you're going to be able to maintain and grow at the same time. So it wasn't hard for me to sever those relationships, and those relationships were friends and family. Because at the end of the day, I have, my own family and my own goals, my own dreams. So it's actually key and important to understand and realize that in your growth, you're not taking everybody with you. And the design is not for everybody to go with you. So look, only way a train gets faster is if it loses some of its cargo.
Wow.
I mean, there's going to be a thousand analogies, you know, that can fit that same narrative of as you grow or as you exceed or as you go higher, you know, things will fall off. My pastor, you know, he gave the greatest analogy once upon a time. It's a little lengthy, but I'll compact it.
You can give the analogy, yeah.
Yeah. So he gave a story of a pilot that was in training and that was flying, and they were flying and they were at this one altitude and everything was fine. And then the control tower where the trainer was telling him, okay, I want you to go higher. So he would go higher. He said, okay, you're doing good. And then as he started to level off a little bit more, the plane started to shake. Things were going haywire and he was panicking. And so his trainer told him, I want you to go higher. He was like, what if I go higher? It's just gonna get worse. So just go higher, trust me, go higher. So as he kept going higher and higher and higher, all of a sudden the plane leveled out, the shaking stopped. And when he looked down, there were all these dead rats in the plane.
Mm-hmm.
And so the moral of it was, the higher you elevate, the pressure is not going to be for everybody that's on that journey with you.
Mm.
Some people aren't going to be able to handle that pressure and they're going to die off. You have to let that happen. So you have to elevate and understand that in elevating, everybody's not going to make it, but you will, because it's your journey.
And
So
you can tell based off how they moving, based off if their movement aligns with where you want to go.
right. So as long as you leveled off and it's in their atmosphere, their realm, they love it. But as soon as you elevate yourself, you know, don't be surprised when people don't want to celebrate it with you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. So for man, as we come to an end, man, what's some advice you would like to give to that next person watching this episode that's thinking about, man, life is tough right now. I got school on my plate, I got work on my plate, I got a lot of different things. For anybody that's watching this podcast, what's something you would like to leave them with as they get ready to sign off?
Life is going to be hard. It's designed to be hard, but it's also designed to be hard so you can become better. So look, man, I've been to war, I've been divorced, I've been remarried, I've got children, I got a father who has who had cancer, who had brain surgeries, who had tumors. I mean, I've in my first few years of life, I bounced around to different states every 3 years. I didn't have stability. By the time I came into adulthood, you know, I was still confused about just myself. But at the same time, it was part of the design. And what you have to realize and understand that your hardships, your difficult times, everything about your life that doesn't necessarily go as planned as you want it to is an opportunity for you to grow, an opportunity for you to learn something. So don't stop. You know, it's going to be hard, and that's okay. That's the part that you have to understand and accept, that it's going to be hard, but that's okay, because that's how growth comes. So keep growing, and in the process of growing, just surround yourself with the right people. Surround yourself with the people who are going to tell you, hey man, look, don't quit, you know, keep going. Mm-hmm. Whatever and those people can, you know, encourage you, but also help you in whatever capacity. But at the same time, just still know that this is your journey. Just keep going. Don't stop. You know, if you have to pause for a minute just to catch your breath, that's fine. And whatever that may look like, if you need to take a month to yourself to just be able to recharge your batteries, do that. But just don't quit. You know, they want us to quit. They do not want us to succeed. They do not want you to live in their neighborhood. They do not want you to be at their country club. They do not want you on their boats. They don't want you anywhere other than in a place to where you are in a place of service, serving them in some sort of capacity. Don't give up. Keep pushing. We are honestly blessed to be in the positions that we are because we have the capacity like nobody else has, which is to not give up, to push through, to overcome adversity. You just have to realize and recognize that that is in you. It is in your DNA. You just have to tap into it. Tap into it. Don't quit. Don't give up. Keep pushing. Talk to people like myself, like Xavier. Surround yourself with the right people, and don't be afraid to let some people go. There's a bright future ahead of you. If you want it, you just have to tap into it and decide, I'm going to do it. Is people going to hear that and they're going to be like, oh man, that's bull. It ain't that easy. It's that easy to decide, but the journey is not going to be easy. Nobody said the journey was going to be easy, but the choice and the decision is that simple. Choose.
Yes, sir. And always remember the flight. You can't get on a flight with all that baggage. Let's go.
No, can't do it.
So we want to say thank you again to Mr. Chambers. Can you please tag yourself, shout yourself out for social media as well?
Yeah. So if you want to, find me, probably the easiest way is to go on to Google and just put Anthony Chambers, Goosehead Insurance. You can find me that way. I'm on Facebook. I'm on IG. And just by searching my name, Anthony Chambers, but I think even on Instagram, it might be Anthony J. Chambers. But you can also, reach out to me on, email anthony.chambers@goosehead.com. You can find me there, but I'm very easily accessible. You just have to be intentional and just say, I'm gonna find this dude. And it's actually real easy.
Okay, Anthony Chambers, Goosehead Insurance Agency, the franchise owner, coming down to pay attention to talk to us about insurance, protection, the benefits. He gave us some education as well as some insight to the success mentality as being a Black man in the field of insurance, and of course encouraging other people to get educated, to invest into themselves, invest into their skill sets, invest into their craft as they grow as an individual, for their family, and for their community. So with that being said, this has been another great episode of Pay Attention. Thank you, Mr. Chambers. We are out. Y'all have a good one.
All right.
Yes, sir.